And we're starting off with Seth Rollins, as it's been 47 days since he defeated AJ Styles to become World Heavyweight Champion, a title that WWE admits was created because of Roman Reigns. Since then, Rollins has taken on all comers, including Finn Balor, Damian Priest, The Miz, and Braun Breaker, but Seth himself is of the opinion that he shouldn't be champion. Speaking to Ryan Satin on Out of Character, Rollins laid into his Shield brother for forcing WWE to make a new title, something Seth believes shouldn't have had to happen. He says, "If Roman was doing what I'm doing, there wouldn't really be the need for a secondary championship. There wouldn't be a need for another World Heavyweight Championship on Raw, because we would have somebody who was doing those things, but because of the route he has chosen and what he wants to do with his schedule and his title reign is not what I'm doing, somebody's got to fill that void." Seth added that while he did his best to elevate the US title last year, the absence of a world championship was noticeable, and reiterated that Reigns should be defending the title. Throughout Rollins' entire reign, Reigns has had a total of 0 title matches on TV, and while Seth is proud to be a fighting champion, it's a role he feels never should have had to be created in the first place. If you've been to a WWE live event, you'll have seen countless pieces of merchandise for sale, ranging from t-shirts to titles to figures of superstars and other on-screen talent. As a business, WWE does whatever it takes to part fans with their money, and business is certainly booming for Vince McMahon's promotion. As Dave Meltzer explained on Wrestling Observer Radio, not only is merch selling well, but the figures have never been higher, with Meltzer putting a lot of the success on Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief and the Bloodline can often be found at the top of the merch sales charts, with Cody Rhodes not far behind, and the recent popularity of LA Knight has improved his standing backstage. Meltzer pointed out that not even during the Attitude Era, when wrestling was at its arguable peak in popularity, were the merch figures this good, and the same goes for the Hogan era as well. While fans may have gripes about some aspects of the product, WWE is clearly doing something right, as the merchandise figures continue to prove each week. This week's NXT also saw the Judgment Day invade the show in a rare outing from the group, and fans will be seeing more of the faction next week. On NXT, it was confirmed that Dominik Mysterio will be in action on next week's show, and will challenge the NXT North American champion Wes Lee. The winner of this match will go on to defend the gold against Mustafa Ali at NXT Great American Bash, and Ali has been a thorn in Lee's side for some time. This will be Dominik's second ever NXT match, and his first singles championship opportunity ever in WWE, and what do you make of the upcoming match between Mysterio and Lee? We've got news from the NWA now, as Tyrus has reigned as world champion for over 240 days, but his reign hasn't exactly had the fans gripped. Arguably, the biggest highlight of his reign was the recent comments from Billy Corgan, who said that you can't be a wrestling fan if you don't watch Tyrus, but his reign is now under serious jeopardy. During the most recent episode of NWA Power, EC3 retained his NWA National Heavyweight title against Silas Mason, but post-match abandoned the title in the ring. It was later confirmed by announcer Joe Galli that EC3 was relinquishing the title to challenge for the World Heavyweight title, a similar rule as to what Impact has with the X Division title. This match will take place at the NWA 75th Anniversary Show, which will take place on August 26th and 27th, and there's plenty of history between the champion and challenger. Tyrus and EC3 worked together in FCW, and would later be a major alliance on screen in Impact Wrestling, but now EC3 is hungry to end the reign of the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. For decades, The Undertaker made his name in WWE with countless classic matches, but recently, the Phenom's name popped up in a place you wouldn't expect. If you're a Marvel fan, you've probably been watching Secret Invasion, and wrestling fans were delighted to hear Don Cheadle's War Machine reference the WWE Hall of Famer. In the scene, Cheadle spoke about firing Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury with a DDT from the top rope, saying it was Undertaker level, making the Phenom, and therefore WWE, canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. AEW news now, as the recent Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament has seen some unlikely pairings, but none as unlikely as Adam Cole and AEW World Champion MJF. Despite the pair's differences, the two talented wrestlers have made for quite the team, and have now made it to the finals of the tournament. On last night's Dynamite, MJF and Cole put their differences aside, Garcia and Guevara qualified for the finals earlier in the night with a win over Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin, and the finals will take place on the July 12th episode of Dynamite. After their match, Cole promised that should he and MJF win the tournament, the two men will win the AEW World Tag Team Championship on the July 29th episode of Collision, an idea MJF seemed on board with. While the pair have bonded somewhat, even playing Fight Forever together, many think it'll be just a matter of time before MJF shows his true colors. And who would you like to see win the Eliminator tournament? More from Dynamite now as Don Callis continued to court Chris Jericho on this week's show, even playing some old footage of the pair from 1995 alongside the late Bad News Brown. As fans saw in the segment, Jericho is very much open to the idea of aligning himself with Callis, but this could lead to his pairing with Jake Hager coming to an end. Later in the night, after Jericho's win over Commander, Hager questioned whether Jericho was going to leave the JAS behind to side with Callis, and the former world champion did not give a clear answer. An irate Hager removed his bucket hat, a hat that he loves by the way, and gave it back to Jericho, saying he cannot back someone who is not transparent with him. Hager has been on the side of Jericho since the very start of his AEW career in 2019, so the idea of him leaving Y2J behind opens up a lot of possibilities for the former ECW champion. Do you think this is the end of Hager and Jericho in AEW, and how would you book Jake if it is? Make sure to leave your views in the comments down below. In May of last year, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of WWE programming in what would be the final time the pair would ever attend a taping for the promotion. Suspended immediately after the walkout and branded unprofessional on TV, both Banks and Naomi have gone on to join other companies, but it's been hard to move on from what happened. Speaking to the New York Post, Naomi, now Trinity, said that she could envision working with Banks, now Mercedes Moné, again, and said that the boss was one of the few WWE names to check up on her. Trinity said that nobody other than herself and Moné can understand the magnitude of what happened in May 2022, and that it formed a bond between them that can never be broken. Right now, both women are excelling outside of WWE, with Moné being the top woman in New Japan even despite her injury, and is continuing to make a name for herself out of the ring. As for Trinity, she will challenge for the Impact Knockouts Championship at Slammiversary this weekend, and no matter what, she knows she'll have the support of Mercedes Moné. And we're ending today with Johnny Knoxville, who defeated Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 38, but a lot has changed for the Canadian superstar since then. While a heel in April of last year, Zayn is now one of WWE's most beloved babyfaces, but that doesn't mean much to the Jackass star. On the bump, Knoxville was asked about possibly burying the hatchet with Zayn, and said the only place he'd be burying the hatchet is in the back of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion. Given that the show aired on Sami's birthday, Knoxville decided to reveal his birthday present, a Sami Zayn action figure, albeit one he tried to blend, and when that failed, smashed on the ground. Despite Zayn's face turn, Knoxville has remained committed to the angle, even booing and jeering Sami at WrestleMania 39 this year, and perhaps this feud will continue on WWE TV one day.